Commissioner, and let you introduce your team and then walk us through your presentation. And colleagues, we are getting copies of it in the interim, but go ahead.
All right. So greetings, Chair and Council. I am Commissioner Remy Santil of the Department of Enterprise Asset Management, and I am joined by Tiffany Burton, Director of Administration, Cheryl Glenn Snooks, Interim Director of Real Estate, Mark Harklerode, Program Management Officer of Capital Projects, and Vince Williams, Assistant Director of Facilities Operations. And on the behalf of the great team at DEEM, we are here to present our fiscal year 24 budget. In support of the Mayor's pillars, our vision is to achieve the true value of assets using a systematic approach to deliver efficient and sustainable world-class facilities that provide an optimal experience for our constituents, employees, and guests. Our mission: provide life cycle management of physical assets to sustainably achieve their business objectives, coordinate activities to realize maximum value from assets, provide strategic oversight and efficient management of facility real property holdings and leased properties, provide efficient property acquisitions, provide the city with a vertical central program management office, and provide safe, clean, well-maintained, accessible, and sustainable facilities. This slide depicts our structure and the detail of our 4 divisions: administration, real estate, capital projects, and facilities operations. Our fiscal year 23 highlights include we managed about $7.4 million of revenue for the City of Atlanta. We initiated a parking analysis to look at our parking decks and lots to provide a path forward on management and parking for our employees. Georgia Power utility easements resulted in revenue and upgrades to city facilities. Our core responsibility, asset management, for our core responsibility, asset management, we are introducing cutting-edge technology to expand our enterprise asset management system. We are working with the leading companies in this space and utilizing machine learning, AI technology, and preventative maintenance and predictive maintenance. We are also building the infrastructure to monitor and control mechanical equipment in our buildings. We also completed a citywide condition assessment of over 3 million square feet for DEEM, DPR, and DPW, equaling 145 buildings. The goal is to establish a 10-year capital plan to address the findings. And one thing about this one, I want to really put an asterisk around this condition assessment. What we did here is it's really valuable, is having the data. And I'll be presenting this also to FEC in the coming months relative to the condition assessment. But now we have actual data that we can act upon. And that's really going to be part of when we really going for our ISO 55000 certification, which standardizes our process for maintaining our assets. But having this data and being able to have that and be able to act upon it is really critical for what we're doing in our department. And last but not least, we completed the Fire Station 36 on Fairburn Road and EMS number 37 on Campbellton Road. And Tiffany Burns will go over the operating budget.
So for the FY24 total operating budget, over the last 3 years, our budget has gone from 17.1 in F22 to 18.2 in FY22, down to 15.9 in FY23, and then up again to 16.4 in FY24. That's a proposed budget. That's an increase of $461,000, which we will break down in the next slide. In the FY24 headcount, we actually are expecting an increase of 8 positions, where our current FTEs will be at 86, and there will be 10 vacant funded positions. Which button? All right, so to break down the 461,000 a little bit, our total personnel actually is increasing over last year, $222,000. Currently, we have, like I mentioned, it will be going up about 8 people. In FY23, we have a total of 88 positions, funded positions, and then in FY24, we're expecting 96 funded positions. That will give us a total, as I said, in 96 funded positions, using $222,000 increase over last year. And for our total operating budget, the other portion of the $461,000 is $238,000 increase over last year. The key drivers of that are there will not be a change in the contracted services, but our supplies and other financing increases approximately $238,000. Currently, our personnel data to date, Deem had an average retention rate of 89% with an average vacancy rate for funded positions of 11%. Our key operational data is that we will be focusing on that facility condition assessments recommendation for the needed backlog repairs. And we're going to establish contracts for any operational services that we may not have contracts for currently. So to break down that $16.4 million in our FY24 budget, our personnel make up $8.3 million, where our contracted services will make up $3.2 million. And of course, that other category, which involves our supplies as well as our fleet, will be another $4.9 million. Our operational areas within Deem include administration, real estate, our technical services, as well as capital projects, and our facility operations team. Now I'm going to turn it back over to Remy to discuss our FY24 priorities.
So our priorities for fiscal year 24 is to complete the parking analysis, and that's going to be a great addition to kind of give us a path forward again to on the our parking needs within the city. Additional asset management training for the staff and establish a plan to obtain our ISO 55000 certification. ISO 55000 certification will certify that the City of Atlanta has a structured asset management framework, which is an international claim with high standards. We also will be digitizing our deeds and completing the project of moving our database of real property into an asset management system. We will be completing the municipal court power grid project. And also to have our infrastructure bond projects in construction. We will plan on doing that, completing that in this year as well. And creating an established standard operating procedures for our facility operations staff. And last but not least, completing additional life safety projects. With that, that's the end of our presentation. Any questions you may have?
All right, questions for the commissioner? Okay, I am going to start then. So I have to say, I mean, I think one of the themes, if you've been following our other budget discussions, has been around capacity and kind of the money that we've gotten from the infrastructure bond and moving Atlanta forward. A lot of it is with you, and I see the public safety infrastructure bonds here in terms of your FY24 priorities. You've got a modest increase in staff, and I'm wondering how much of that is attributable to the need to build capacity to execute these problems. How much of it is just natural as our kind of capital inventory ages that we still need to continue amping that up? And do you feel comfortable with the capacity to deliver on these projects? I just feel like there's been a little bit of a clog in some of the other departments, and I want to, you know, this is our chance to figure out if we need to do anything else to help unclog that ability.
Yes, of course, there are a multitude of different challenges that we'll be experiencing for this fiscal year and to do these projects. We have an industry-wide just looking for the right people, looking for the type quality 5 people, but we are working with the CFO's office on additional dollars on additional staffing for these projects. So we are definitely talking with the CFO's office and with Deputy CEO Ada on addressing those particular needs.
And how, do we need to do anything else to be competitive, or is it just patience and getting out there and finding the folks.
Yeah, because everybody's experiencing this. So it's
Right.
not just the city. You can say, yes, pay, it's this, that, but it's industry-wide. Trying to find good project managers and trying to find people that are qualified to do these type of things and having the experience to do these type of new construction projects is tough. But we have a good staff. We've been working off miracles for our current staff, and we've been really productive with these capital projects thus far. We have 2 fire stations coming on now, 36 and 37. 22 is about to be complete, and then all of our fire stations right now are in design. So we should have a contractor on board by the end of the year, and that's what we mean. We want to be able to start construction by the end of this year.
Yeah, 'cause that was the other thing I wanted to say is that it might be I mean, it sounds like you've got this under control, but I will put this out on the table that if you feel like if would be helpful, I think there is appetite on our side to look at if we need to make personnel paper adjustments to give you more resources for salary bumps to recruit folks, because cost of construction is only going to move against us. So this time is money. So it might be worth that extra investment so that we can start projects on the earlier part of the 5-year window versus the latter part. So just, it sounds like you got it under control, but I always.
Wait. It's not.
Okay.
If you're going to give, then I will receive. So, yeah, to say that we don't, we do.
Okay.
But we are working miracles. But yes, if there are avenues to where we can approach this and systematically and strategically to get our personal bodies, then yes, this is something definitely that we will be looking forward to.
Well, I know this council member, and I sense that there might be others as well. I mean, I think delivering on these projects is a priority for us. We all, first off, we have a 5-year timeline on the bond money anyway, so we know we've got that clock ticking.
Right.
But in terms of our obligation to the public and our constituents, we want to move as quickly as possible as well as the inflation compounder. All that said, I mean, I hope that as you and the HR commissioner continue to recruit, to the extent that you signal back to us, or this is something we can continue to check in with you during quarterly reports and such. I know I would be glad to champion a strategy, a well thought out strategy to be able to help you accelerate. It's too important. I mean,
I concur with that. That definitely would be.
Because I also think a lot of the council members, the heat that we're feeling, stems also back to the 2015 money that we still are trying to get out the door. And so to just make sure that we stand in good faith with our constituents, we have to leave that on the table. So, okay, well, I appreciate that you've thought through that. Yeah, Councilmember Lewis, you have the floor.
Councilmember Norwood brought something up. I know we was talking a lot about hiring. We have the city of Atlanta has a lot of people here already. What kind of outreach are you doing for our residents that we already have to bring them on?
I can take that. So I'm working directly with our HR liaisons, and they are informing me that they're putting it out there everywhere. Going to some of the local schools, Georgia Tech, going to different industry meetings with construction, as well as going on Indeed and any other types of hiring sources. I mean, we're doing everything that we possibly can to
And
get
so
folks in the
I
door.
would like a list of your entry-level positions. That way we can get all those filled, because to me, you got the AUC sitting right here, which we didn't mention. And we also have we have Atlanta Metropolitan State College and Atlanta Technical College all sitting in District 12. I know there's a influx of people that can't wait to come get these positions. So
Yeah, and council member, I mean, specifically, I was just directing that about the construction positions, and they need to be a little bit more skilled. But some of our other positions, we are also going to the Atlanta Metropolitan Colleges, to anywhere that we possibly, any college career days that they have, we're going and we're making a presence.
I have a job fair that's next week,
Awesome.
and that I would
We
love
write it
to.
down.
Yeah, I would love to include you in this on June 14th
Okay.
at 10 a.m. And most folks should know about it because it's with WorkSource Atlanta. And they said 818 Pollard. And I would bring some folks down.
That's
here.
the building that we manage, so we'll be
We'll
there
be
for
there.
that.
Yeah, we will be there. 2 or 3 of our guys came from work stores
Exactly.
in
Right.
the past, so we definitely reached out to them before, so we'll definitely be there.
Because I know folks who take these positions from our city, they get that job, they never leave. They retire, they love the city, they love it a little bit more. And so I can't wait till we fill these positions with people that are here already. We don't got to recruit that often. Thank you.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Other questions or comments? I actually, before I do that, this is probably a question for finance, and I probably should have asked this earlier. So as I'm looking at their budget request on page 409, it's not specific to this department, but the pension contribution decrease, that's kind of universal across all departments. And can you walk me through again what's causing that?
Sure, no problem at all. Yeah, on the pension, we are experiencing a couple of things. One is within defined contributions, and that is driven primarily by our workforce. So as we experience attrition and as departments begin to hire during the fiscal year, we are realizing that savings. In addition, what you do see in the budget book now is what we had discussed during second quarter, especially during this fiscal year. It's really a sneak peek into us right-sizing a lot of the budgets around our pension and defined contribution. So with that attrition and departments backfilling, we are seeing some of those savings in those particular accounts.
Okay. How much of that is driven also by the fund performance? That's not right. The annual minimum contribution. I can't remember what that acronym was.
Correct. On the fund performance, that would definitely be on the pension side, especially as we look at the defined benefits for the general employee and our police and fire. But what we are experiencing is more on the DC side of the house, as opposed to your point.
Okay. Well, I appreciate y'all sharpening your pencils on that, because it's not an insignificant amount in terms of savings or expense reduction. So. All right, any other questions for enterprise asset management? First, I should also thank y'all for getting the AC fixed in here last night. That was...
It was quiet. I heard it was a little stuffy. I heard it was a little stuffy.
Oh, my God.
It was hot in more ways than one.
Yes, that's what I'm hearing.
You're welcome.
Right.
No. But thank you to you and your team for kind of keeping the assets that we do have maintained, and in emergency situations, being able to respond quickly as well. I do think, we have an opportunity now, as you have the resources or, the pools of money that any catch-up we can do in terms of the backlog, as well as just continue to think about how the new things that we're building with the infrastructure bond money, how we make sure let's maintain that so that it isn't more expensive later down the road to repair them.
Yes, the presentation that I'll be giving to the FEC relative to the condition assessment, you're going to get a lot of insight on the level of detail that the company came out and did, the third-party company did, and at the same time, we went out there and did the condition assessment, but then we cataloged all the assets in the building so that it goes into our enterprise asset management system. So the serial numbers, your model numbers for your chillers, your pumps, you name it. We have that information which we didn't have before. Now we have that information, we can input it into our system, so now we can better maintain those assets moving forward.
That's great. All right. Well, if there are no other questions, Commissioner, thank you and your department for your presentation as well as your service. So, and we'll see you in FEC.
Yes.
All right. Thank you.
Good day.
All right. We're actually managing to do a little catch up as they step down. We'll have grants. Exactly. We'll have grants come up. And for those following in your hymnals, grants and community development is on page 437.